And welcome everyone to another edition of Winning Ways with the MIAA. I'm your host, Pete Royce, joined by Jay Horrigan of Franklin TV, and we have two special guests in studio and two folks, student athletes, who will be zooming in for our meeting here today. I'd like to introduce the Executive Director of the MIAA, Bob Baldwin. Bob, welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be back, and let's keep this thing going, right?
Right. And Steve Dubzinski, the Assistant Director of the MIAA. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks for having us again.
Our feature here today is going to be on two student athletes, the Student Athletes of the Month. And before we introduce them and ask them some questions, Steve, tell us a little bit about the award. What is it meant to do?
Yeah, it's a great award on behalf of the association that every school that is a member of the association is eligible to nominate. And this month, as we're going to meet two of our guests, we had more nominees than we've had in the past few months. So we started in September. Gave them through September through December, and we're going to meet January. It's based on athletic ability, their accomplishments on the playing fields and courts, ice, as we'll see today with Penny, and also community service and academic awards.
Some of the community service write-ups are just outstanding what they do, huh?
It's unbelievable, and you guys just saw the top two. So when I tell you that we had to narrow them down from the large number we got, and then narrow them down to about 5 or 6 in each category, and then these were the top two. So we're really proud of our winners.
Student Athletes of the Month, they can be nominated by anybody at their school, or how does that work? How does the nomination process work?
Yeah, they're nominated, but we put out a call to, nominations, and whether you're an athletic director, a coach, principal, we get a whole bunch of them, and here's what we have today. And the neat thing about all this is that this is really what we want to focus on. Our amazing student athletes who every day are just getting the job done during school, and then what they do after school, and what they do as human beings 24/7. So we're really proud of them, and this is the spotlight we want to put on our kids.
And we had talked about in our last show that one of your main objectives, Dr. Baldwin, as the executive director, is to promote the student athletes, their leadership abilities, not just on the surface,
right,
but in the community and with the school. And this is another way for you to do that?
Growing courageous leaders. Yeah. And so far in their lives, they have epitomized what courageous leadership is. Being out there and making a difference and just doing what is right. So we're really proud that they exemplify what courageous leaders are, and hopefully all those little eyes in middle school and elementary in their communities are looking at them, whether they know it or not, and saying, someday I want to be just like these two individuals today.
Awesome.
Well, let's take a look at these two individuals and bring them in. Our first guest, we'll just introduce both, and we'll start with one of them. Henry Bryan is from Pentucket Regional High School, and he will be one of our Student Athletes of the Month for January, and Penelope Penny Spack from Peabody High School. And Penny, let's start with you. Welcome to the show. What does the award mean to you?
This award means so much to me. I'm so excited. I'm so honored to have been given this award. It really means to me that all of my hard work is paid off, and all of the effort that I've really put into my sports, my schoolwork, and everything else that I do, that it's working, and that it's paying off, and that I'm really trying, being successful in what I'm putting my work into and what I care about. All the people that are around me, I know they love me so much, and I don't know where I would be without them.
All right. And Henry Bryan, let's turn to you. Pentucket Regional High School, what's the award mean to you?
I mean, I think Penny said it perfectly. It feels good to kind of have all the examples of leadership in sports and academics. It feels good to know that all my work is being recognized, not only by people local to me, my coaches and teachers at my school, but also an organization as big as the MIAA. And I just really want to say thank you to you guys for reaching out and nominating me and giving me this award, and just thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And let's look at what you do. You're in the swimming pool a lot, right, Henry? When do you go in next?
Yeah. This coming Sunday, we have our Division II, if I remember correctly. We have our state championship, and it's at MIT. It's going to be early. I think warm-ups start at 8 a.m., but I'm really excited to kind of see what I can go.
When you're up there in the pool, all four of us will still be sleeping.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very jealous. It flip flops every year. So last year it was, I think, warm ups were at like 7 p.m. So
right.
it's definitely a switch. But I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
Henry, we're also sleeping at 7 p.m. Don't worry about it.
The older I get, it's
I
more
wish
in
I
the
was
evening.
early.
Yeah, and mid-afternoon as well. Henry, tell us a little bit about yourself. What led you to where you are now in school, your community service that you're involved with?
Yeah. Kind of as far as academics go, over COVID, I just kind of really struggled with like the learning format, as I think a lot of other students did. Like, it was just kind of hard to wake up and like really want to go sit in front of a computer for a few hours straight. So I kind of, on the way back in junior and sophomore year, I finally looked at myself and was like, I have like serious dreams. Like, I want to be a doctor. I want to go into like a very difficult field. So I need to start putting the work in now. So I really tried academically to try to like turn my focus around and really start putting in the time and effort. And it's really amazing to kind of just over time see where all that hard work can get you. And so I'm definitely excited for college, and I'm really excited to see what biology has in store for me.
Other student athletes watching this, what a great lesson you are giving us, that you can stop on a dime anybody and say, today is the day that I follow my dreams and goals. So you're just a real inspiration to everybody, adults, kids, that at any day we can wake up and say, today's going to be different. I'm going to be focusing on this, and look what it's gotten you. So what a great story.
Yeah. And as my mom always said, like, obviously sports has played a massive role in my life, and it's something I plan to obviously do competitively in college and probably outside of college. But at the end of the day, my mom always tried to remind me that I'm a student athlete, not an athlete student. So school always needs to come first.
That is a tremendous way of putting it. The student comes first in the name of student athlete. You said you refocused yourself, and I'm sure a lot of students who have been in school during COVID have had to, at some point, have that conversation with themselves. Was it something you did on your own? Was it a communication with your parents, your coaches? How did that refocusing come about?
Well, I just kind of, I definitely saw it reflected in my grades, but I also saw it reflected in my mental health. Like, yes, at times it felt good to be like, oh, I just won't do that assignment. I'll come up with an excuse. But at the end of the day, if you want to grow to your full potential, you're going to have to put the work in. And that's something that obviously is reflected in sports greatly. And I also saw it reflected in my academic career. So I was like, if I'm willing to put this work into my sports and my athletics, then I should be able to do the same in school.
Let's go back to Penny Spack. And Penny, you played hockey, soccer, and softball. Do you have a favorite sport among those three?
It's hard to pick. I love them all, but I think hockey has a slight edge over the others. Softball's right behind it.
Yeah, very good. And how about your thirst for community service? Where did you first get that seed planted in your heart to provide a community service outreach?
It's kind of been there since I was a kid. I've always been around all my parents, my grandparents. Everyone's very involved in my church, and that's something that I like to continue to do. And I would like to continue that in college as well. My church is the St. Basilios Greek Orthodox Church downtown in Peabody, and I'm there all the time helping out, trying to make that community better and make an impact on that community. And that seed from there has been planted and kind of reached out from there. I was part of National Junior Honor Society when I was in middle school. Now I'm part of National Honor Society, and I continue to love doing community service and making the world a better place to live for people that don't have the opportunity to do that themselves.
Penny, Henry tells us he's going to be in a pool Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Hockey. Tell us about early mornings with hockey. Do you have any great stories about how early it has been?
Yeah, there's definitely been some early morning wake-ups for hockey. Definitely had to deal with that in my youth. When I was very young, we used to have like 7 a.m. practices at the rink, and you'd have to get up at like 6 in the morning, and you'd get to the rink, and it was all dark. No one was on the ice yet. And it was just very satisfying, I guess, in a way, just because you would go out there, and if you were early enough, you'd be the first one out there, and all you could hear were your own skates and your own stick
Great.
handling and your
That's
own
all.
shooting, all
Oh.
that. That's all that could be heard in the rink, and it was so nice. And that's one of the best feelings, and I love that feeling when I'm the first one to be on the ice when it's quiet everywhere else. And I try to get as much extra ice time as I can. One of the reasons is because of that.
That's awesome, Penny. I would like to go back to Henry for a moment. You brought up, when you talked about refocusing, your mental health, issues with that. Do you find that your fellow students, that has become a much bigger issue over the last several years? We obviously hear about it in everyday life and a focus. How about with you and students at school?
Yeah, I mean, personally from experience, like COVID definitely took a toll on me, kind of with my motivation and kind of something like that. And I do honestly think that as far as other students go, I think a lot of students have been struggling with mental health. Obviously, I don't think it's very severe for a lot of people, but I think it's definitely an underlying thing that does affect everyone on a almost day-to-day basis for a lot of students my age.
And Henry, your community outreach is focused a lot on anti-drowning and the campaign that you've helped forge. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, I mean, as a swimmer, I know how fun the pool can be. Like, I've grown up surfing, being in the beach, I go to a summer club. But as a lifeguard, I became a lifeguard last summer, and I've been a lifeguard since pretty much, whether it be an indoor and outdoor pool. I've really learned how dangerous water can be. And so as someone who's always also taught swim lessons, I've kind of realized that swim lessons are good because they are able to teach the younger kid usually how to like properly swim and how to float and like basic stuff like that. But the one thing that I've kind of realized was there's no really preventative way of an accident. I feel like swim lessons are a kind of way to, if a kid does fall in the pool, how they can safely get themselves out, or an example like that. But I think there's no real focus on how to avoid falling in the pool in the first place. So that's why we kind of started the anti-drowning initiative. It was me and my co-captains, my coach Rebecca, and what we did is we just kind of went around to we went to one elementary school in the Newburyport area, and then we went to actually my home elementary school in Groveland, the Backnell School. And what we did is we just kind of worked with a lot of younger kids, and we tried to help teach them how to, one thing we focused on was how to properly put on a life jacket, making sure it's, not too big, not too small, fits just right, putting it on the correct way. And we also tried to do a lot of preventative stuff, like kind of the rules you should follow when you're on a canoe or a boat, or if you're, since it was in the fall, we tried to almost focus on ice safety a little bit more. Like you should always ask an adult or a trusted adult to go and see if the ice is safe enough for you to go on. You should always try to listen to the older people around you. And I think it's something like to go back on my point, I think it's definitely really productive because not only are we like giving children we're kind of giving children the ability to safely learn how to handle water and how to have a mature and safe approach to it. Because obviously, I mean, we're all young kids once. We know how fun the water is, but there definitely is a dangerous side to it that we want to keep in mind.
Well, Penny, you could hear Henry in his voice talk about we. He has a lot of teammates supporting him in the effort for the anti-drowning campaign. And you must have had a lot of teammates that really helped you in the three sports you play, hockey, soccer, and softball. Can you talk about the role of team and teammates that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I love my teammates on each of my teams that I'm on. They've basically become like another family to me. All of the girls that I've played with, and even some of the boys when I was young, I played boys hockey when I was growing up. They've all become like very much like brothers and sisters to me. And I'm so excited this year because I have my actual sister on my teams this year. She's also a defenseman and she's been playing hockey with me this year, which is so great. And I'm so excited. And in addition to that, my co-captains, everyone else on my team, it's so important to me to have a good relationship with all of the people that you play with, because that is what makes a team. You play for the logo on the front, not the number on the back. And it's important to care more about the team, in my personal opinion, than it is about your own personal stats or anything else. I believe very strongly in that if you are working hard and working for the team, then that is the most important thing. And that hard work should go towards getting the team to a better spot. And I'm really hoping that the hard work that my team's been putting in this year is going to get us really far into the playoffs in both hockey and softball.
Well, that's really great. And, you know, besides all of that on the ice and on the field and the playing arenas, you've really, really knocked it out of the park with your academic standings. I imagine that Peabody High School has a grade point average maximum of 4.0. How did you ever get a 4.07?
Yeah. So definitely the AP classes that I've been taking for all 4 of my years in high school have definitely helped to get my GPA up. And also my class is very competitive. So a lot of the kids that are in the top of my class have over a 4.0. I've been working very hard in school and I've been really excited. I've loved the teachers that I've had and it's just been a really great experience.
That's really good. You know, being as you plan to go into math and neuroscience in college, I think you should get extra points just for having that as a major.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of undecided in what I want to go into, but those are something like 2 of the things that have definitely piqued my interest.
Yeah.
Both of my parents are engineers, so I've kind of always loved math, and I think in very black and white ways. But I've also always loved the nature versus nurture like side of the brain and kind of trying to understand why we grow up the way we grow up and why people have certain characteristics is very interesting to me. So I'm really excited to look into both of those subjects a little bit more.
Bob, would you say this is courageous leadership in front of us? What do you think?
Well, you know, we have about 5 bullets that say what courageous leadership is. And one of them, Penny, is that it's others above self. And there are adults who can't figure that out, and you already have. You know, you know, maturing and making great decisions in life isn't about age. And it's just so commendable that you will be so successful moving forward when you just keep thinking of others and doing for others first, and self comes along the way. And Henry, you're just a real success story with setting goals and every darn day waking up and working hard to achieve them. And I always tell people the tortoise always beats the hare in the race. And in the world we live in today, everybody wants instant gratification, but waking up every darn day and working hard and doing what you guys are doing is so motivational to us because you are what we work for and try to. So thank you so much. You epitomize what it's all about. They are courageous leaders, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
To both of you, and we'll start with Penny. Penny, you were nominated by your coach, Michelle Roach. Tell us about her importance in your development, your academic life, and what she means to you.
Yeah, she's been my coach for hockey for all 4 years of my high school career, as well as her assistants, Stephen Roach and Amanda Donahue. I have loved playing for her, and this year I feel like have an even better relationship with her, and that I have really connected with her this year, which has been awesome. This year, I think that I've become more comfortable on the ice and much more confident, which definitely has helped. And I think that confidence that I have in myself is also reflected in the confidence that my coaches have in me. And this year, she's definitely been a big supporter of mine, and I've loved playing underneath her. She works us hard, and she definitely understands the importance of school. She definitely pushes us to do our best in school as well as our best when we're on the ice and in all other areas of life. And she's been a great role model for me, and I've loved playing underneath her. She's just been a great coach for me,
Awesome.
honestly.
Henry, you were nominated by the athletic director at Pentucket, Dan Thornton. Talk about your relationship. It's not a direct coach, but it's someone you see on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, all 4 years of high school, he's somebody that I've always seen. He's always been like just such a nice and happy and supportive guy. And I couldn't pick any other athletic director in the world. I swear he's at every game. He's always taking pictures. He's always super supportive of everyone. He'll say hi to you in the hallway. He's just an all-around super nice guy. And last year I actually went to the MIAA sportsmanship summit with him. And so it was nice to kind of just spend a day with him, talk to him both as an athlete and just as a person. And I just really want to give him a thank you for nominating me, because as you guys have said all throughout this is no small award. So I really just want to thank him for all he's done for not only me, but the school, the athletic program, and just one big old thank you to Mr. Thornton.
Well, Penny Spack and Henry Bryan, we want to thank you. You two have set the bar really high, and we look forward to future student athletes, but boy, we look up to you. Congratulations and all the best in future success for both of you. Thanks for being on.
I just wanted to say thank you so much to the MIAA and everyone else who was involved in this decision. I'm so honored by this award and so excited that I was chosen to receive this award. I also want to say a huge shout out to all my teachers, my parents, my sister, all the administrators in the building, our athletic director, my coaches, my teammates, everyone else that has been supporting me this entire time. I really don't know where I would be without them, and their support has been so helpful in everything that I've done. The hard work that I've put in, all of the confidence that they have in me has been one of the most important things and one of the driving factors that has helped me to move forward and to do really well in almost all my sports and my schoolwork and everywhere else. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well said, Penny. Henry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a shocker, like especially hearing the amount of athletes that the MIAA has. It's just such an honor to be someone who is able to stand out as much. And I really do think it says a lot about the MIAA that they just have so many good options. It must be hard to pick one, but I'm happy I was nominated. Obviously, thank you to Mr. Thornton. Thank you just the entire school. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that it takes a village to build a person. So I just want to thank the entire school, all the teammates, coaches, teachers, and all of my family for really being able to push me to be the best version of myself.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. What a start for this segment, huh?
It's fantastic.
Yep.
Steve, it's just tremendous. You get goosebumps listening to where this country is heading with future leaders like this. You feel pretty good.
And we actually, from our association, we now get to go out and meet them in person.
Yeah.
And we present them with a plaque. And this year, due to the generosity of the association, each recipient gets $1,000 towards their college education. So that's great. And a little swag, a little backpack, but it's a great day to go out and see them in their element as well.
It must be encouraging to see two tremendous individuals like them as the January Student Athletes of the Month, but it kind of confirms your mission, what you're here to do, because ultimately, as we've talked about, it's about the student athletes.
Well, I think what they do, they are ambassadors for the whole and the majority. And all too often we hear about the story, and that consumes the news, and it's about the story. This is the story. The story is the vast majority of our student athletes, 240,000, are what these two are here today. And so having a means like this, it's amazing because we can show that the platform of interscholastic athletics and the Henrys and the Pennies are the majority, and they are moving our society forward. And we need to start focusing on that. The glass of water has to be focused half full, and they definitely are half full in this one.
And I'm really glad you brought up who nominated them. Because they clearly have role models in their communities and in their schools that they are, emulating.
And it's very important that students these days, especially Henry brought it up, having to deal with the COVID years and everything, to have those adult role models to kind of guide them and help them. They can bounce things off of them. And so it's going to be great to see.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for that community. It just confirms the mission that those two communities are on as well, those two schools.
I would also say, Pete, we've talked about it. We've talked about it with you two. This is not the first time or last time we'll do this. Our goal is to highlight student athletes as much as we can. So, as you said, Pete, what a great first step.
Yeah, and I hope when they achieve great heights, they'll remember us four common people here at Franklin TV.
Yeah, remember us little people when they make it to the top.
Well, that's going to do it for our show. You can see why we call it Winning Ways with the MIAA. That's Jay Horrigan, that's Steve Dubzinski, that's Bob Baldwin, and I'm Pete Royce. So we say so long for this edition, and we hope to see you next time here on Franklin TV, brought to you by Winning Ways with the MIAA. So long, neighbors.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.